You're listening to Mr. Credit on ESPN Radio 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
ESPN 1700. It's the lunch hour with Mr. Credit, the most important hour in radio. Because I'm here to tell you everything they don't want you to know, and sometimes things you don't want to hear. But you need to, because I'm bringing you the truth. I'm bringing it straight. And we're going to do some things today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to save you some money. We're going to do everything we promised to do every single day right here on ESPN 1700. So, first and foremost, is Michael Vick on your fantasy team? I sure hope so. If so, you cashed in last night. How about 4 TDs on the passing variety and 2 of the rushing variety? 20 for 28 for 333 yards and a stomping of the Washington Redskins after Donovan McNabb signed $78 million deal. We're going to get to that in a second. In the studio today, co-hosting with me, very good friend of mine, my mortgage guy, Craig Sewing with the Craig Sewing Group, Mission Valley and Gateway Funding. Craig, what's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's jump right to the opportunities, man. Tell me this. I know, and you say this all the time, in difficulty lies opportunity. There's a ton. There is a ton of opportunity in this market right now. Let's talk really quick about some of those opportunities.
Best opportunity was the over in that game last night.
Okay.
Opportunities of this marketplace, what we have is right now obviously refinancing, the best opportunity we're ever going to see. The Fed has just pledged $600 billion in this quantitative easing, which should buy some mortgage-backed securities off the marketplace, artificially cause those prices to move up, which causes mortgage rates to move to insane lows. I mean, rates on 30-year fix around a 4% range, depending on your qualifications. And always look at the APR when you're shopping for a mortgage, but we're seeing rates around a 4%. 15-year fix, we're seeing around 3% range, depending on qualifications.
But it's not just about interest rates when it comes to refinancing. There's multiple ways to save money, right? It's not just about, rate and term refinance.
Right. That just kind of sets the stage for everything else that you can do with a refinance. If you're looking at just getting the rate lowered on your mortgage, you're going to save money monthly. But you can also re-strategize. I would actually change the terminology from refinance to re-strategize, because you can also look at if things are going okay for you. Maybe you want to knock some years off your mortgage, go to a 20-year or even a 15-year, which you usually wouldn't be able to do in most markets. But when you have historically low interest rates, you don't see your payment skyrocket going to that 15-year note. Essentially allows you to cut those years off, not see that payment go up. People are pulling money out of their home to buy investment properties. You can pay off debts. Cheapest time to pull money out to do home improvement. So, yeah, there's a whole world of things you can do. The low interest rate environment just makes it all very inexpensive.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying there, because remember, the 30-year loan is a banker's loan. It's designed to make money for the bank. They said, when I'd love to have been in the room when they had the conversation and decided to do the 30-year note for the first time in like 1961 or whatever it was.
They got 40-year notes too.
Oh, gosh. That's just somebody going too far. That's like 3 Red Bulls too many for some banker. All right. So, they say, well, hey, we're doing 10-year and 20-year loans. Why not do a 30-year loan? Look how much interest we get. It's all interest the first 7 years.
Right.
And you can strategically, and what you're telling me is, it's all about strategy. It's not about rate. It's not about term. It's about strategy. How much money are we putting away? What is your ultimate how much does this cost you, this mortgage, in the end? Because it will cost you money. I mean, you're going to pay interest. But the question is how much. And when it comes to refinancing, I think you said it the best way. Restructuring is the right thing to do. Listen, if you own a home, you have to do yourself and your family this favor. You have to call Craig Sewing today. 888-880-9500. Do not send any more money to the banks than you have to. It's just not worth it. That's your money. You get to keep it. You get to spend it on what you want to. 888-880-9500. What other opportunities are you? Because it's not just people who own homes right now, but people who don't own homes have an equally good opportunity potentially in this marketplace.
Right. And right now we're seeing the lowest cost to own real estate since somewhere in the 1970s, and that's because these interest rates are so low. So most people don't have the luxury of paying cash to buy a piece of real estate, so you finance it. You take a mortgage out. And when we're talking about this low interest rate environment, it just creates this low payment. So what we're seeing, our first-time home buyers are seeing payments that are less than what they're paying in rent. So they have the ability to pay their mortgage as opposed to their landlord's mortgage, build their own equity, get their own tax breaks. That's a great opportunity. I think certainly the opportunity to be a move-up buyer, where someone's sitting there with a rate at a 5.25, 5.5 right now. You can move up. You can get that bigger home in that better neighborhood, better school district, whatever it is you're looking for. But because the rates are lower, even though you're buying that bigger house, the payment's not much more.
Similar cost.
Because it's a lower rate. So this is what I mean when I say that there's a low-cost opportunity. Now, it doesn't make sense for everyone. So we don't want to just say, hey, go buy real estate. You got to take the right steps. You definitely have to work with a great real estate agent. I'm very big on that because I think a lot of agents don't do the right job. They're too tied to their commission.
90%.
Yep. You got to focus on working with a great agent, which I can connect anybody with. And because, your real estate is going to be your biggest investment, and it's also going to be your home where you're going to live. So that's very important that you work with someone who understands those goals. And then your mortgage is going to be your biggest debt. So we have to understand what your short, long-term financial vision is, what your long-term strategy is with your overall debt structure. And so when you set up your mortgage, it's very important that we take time to develop the right plan for you, which could be different for everybody that we speak with.
Wow, that's great. You know what I liked what you said there was, hey, why pay your landlord's mortgage when you can pay your own? You can pay principal. You can get the interest deduction. Folks, craigsewing.com is the website. If you want to do a quick email, craigsewing, like a sewing machine.com, or just give Craig a call, 888-880-9500. See how much money you can save on a refinance. You owe that to yourself. And if you're not in the market, if you haven't owned a home, if you avoided, the bubble that burst here, a few years back or whatever it was, hey, great.
Nice job.
You won. You win. Now it's time to cash in.
Sure. That's
the bottom line. So take advantage. We're going to make you some money. We're going to save you some money. That's a very big point of the show here. Now, last night, I want to get to some things here. We had an amazing weekend of football, just amazing. There's a brutal penalty on the Patriots, by the way, on Sunday. We're going to talk. We're going to have to spend a whole segment talking about that. Hilarity. All right. But Michael Vick last night. This is the big story, which is going to lead us to running the score up in the NFL. Well, here's the thing. 18 months ago, the guy's in federal prison, okay? Last night, 333 passing yards, 80 rushing yards, 413 total yards, set records for, he was responsible for 6 touchdowns, 4 by the pass, 2 by the run, set records for points on Monday Night Football, absolutely crushed. In the rain, crushed his mentor, Donovan McNabb, who earlier that afternoon inked a $78 million deal, which we're finding out doesn't have as much guarantee. They said $40 million guaranteed, but there's some clause in there, something weird going on. I'm not even going to get into that. Let's just say it's a $78 million deal.
What an outrageous thing to pay Donovan McNabb.
Stupid is the better. If you really want to get right down to it, it's stupid. You're going to give – here, first of all, let me introduce you to psychology. Now, the guy who owns the Redskins is smarter than you and me, let's be real with ourselves, combined. All right, this guy made his first million when he was 20 years old. He was a billionaire by 35. Okay, you win, dude. But here's the thing. You go out and overpay for everybody, and you go and give a guy a contract on the eve of the most important game of the season. Hold on, brother. It's psychology. You dangle the carrot, man. Don't give him the food and then tell him to go hunt. Yeah. Dog, come on, bro. You're smarter than that. Why would you do that? And you performed terribly. Terribly. 59-28 win. The over was definitely a good bet. If Vic's on your fantasy team, congratulations to you because you just hit the home run.
Michael Vick been very, very good to me.
Michael Vick has been very, very good to me. Very, very good to my fantasy team. That is just insane. Which brings up, 59-28. No one was talking about this. Everyone's just congratulating Vic. Everyone's so proud of him. He's matured. He's still tough as nails, but he's a great football player. He's more cerebral now, which combined with his athleticism makes him the best. All you're hearing is he's the best. Now, I said that before this game, a week ago Friday, on Football Friday, I said Michael Vick was my favorite quarterback in the NFL besides Phillip Rivers. Now you see why. Because there's only so many mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. There just aren't that many of them.
There's nobody like him.
He is insane, and you see why. A great arm and mobile. It's just unbelievable. You cover everybody, so what? Who's covering him? He's going to run for 12 and get the first down, and then you start all over.
He's one big hit away from being done for the season. Somebody comes in when he's making one of those cute runs through the middle or wherever he's going, and he gets hit by a Ray Lewis. He's lost 6 ribs.
Well, good luck catching him. I mean, it's sure, if a car hits a bunny rabbit, it's going to do some damage. But the bottom line is, good luck hitting that bunny rabbit. I mean, he's going to dice in and out. It's crazy. It's crazy what happened. It's going to bring up the topic of running a score up, because we had 2 games this weekend where, it was brought up, hey, you're running up the score. There's a whole discussion we're going to have around that. The Wisconsin-Indiana game, Wisconsin 83, Indiana 20. That's a college game. And then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Broncos 49-29. But the post-game handshake that wasn't to be, as Todd Haley pulled away and pointed at Josh McDaniels, created this whole wave of conversation that I really am glad happened, because I want to talk about this. Running up the score, I feel very strongly about this. I actually want to know what you think. MrCreditRadio.com. Send me an email before we have the discussion if you want to join. All right, so we talked about opportunities in real estate. Amazing, abundant. What a life you have the chance to live if you are willing to take a chance when no one else is. And that's what we're seeing at the opportunity right now. Now, if you're on the flip side, if you're saying, look, the last thing on my mind is, trying to refinance, or I don't own a home and there's no way I can buy. I'm up to my neck in credit card debt. I've got all these bills. I'm trying to figure out, look, you can actually put yourself one step closer to owning a home and also become debt-free at the same time. Do you know that? Do you know the number one thing that they don't want you to know is how good it is for you to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy? How it's legal for you to get rid of all your debt? Did you know that? Did you know that you can permanently eliminate your credit card debt, your collections, medical bills, judgments, wage garnishments, you name it, unsecured debts, auto lease, bad auto lease, rip it up, get rid of it. You're 10,000 miles over and you got a year left, see you later. There's so much you can do. You can save off foreclosure. There's so much you can do with Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It's so good for you and so bad for them. You must become educated. If you have any financial stress at all, trust me, this is the best phone call you've ever made for you and your family. Call William McDonald today, my good buddy and the best bankruptcy attorney in Southern California. 858-437-0103 if you want to become debt-free. 858-437-0103. You'll be glad you did. Everyone is. I get raving emails and calls with voicemails every single day. People calling William McDonald who hear me on the show and saying, wow, what a nice guy. Not only a nice guy, but someone who really cares about you, a big consumer advocate. I would even say even more so than me, and I'm on the top of the food chain there. 858-437-0103 if you want to become debt-free. And just tell him Mr. Credit sent you. That's William McDonald with McDonald Legal Group. When we come back, we're going to have the discussion. The discussion about, is it okay to run up the score? Is it okay to run up the score in the NFL? Is it okay to run up the score in college? Does it matter? That and more. We're going to have a credit tip. We're going to have more with Craig Sewing, Gateway Funding. When we come back, Mr. Credit Radio, ESPN 1700.
I've worked with plenty of different mortgage companies in San Diego, and while there are some who do a great job, there is only one that I can say is truly the best in the business. The Craig Sewing Lending Group provides an experience and expertise in real estate financing that is absolutely second to none. I've known Craig for a dozen years, and I know you would be satisfied working with him. Call 888-880-9500. That's 888-880-9500, or go to craigsewing.com if you're interested in buying real estate in Southern California. It's also worth considering the terms on your loan if you already own property. Rates are at levels that just absolutely boggle the mind right now, and chances are you could save some easy money here. Call Craig Sewing today, 888-880-9500, and tell him Mr. Credit sent you. That's 888-880-9500, or online at craigsewing.com.
The largest infrastructure program in Mexico's history is underway. So far, more than 11,000 kilometers of highways across the country have been built or renovated, opening pathways to a stronger Mexico, the federal government.
Well, you bought her a car, you bought the house, you even bought her that rock. Oh, but now you'll call 1-800-DIVORCE, so she won't clean your clock.
Hey man, If you're facing a divorce, custody, or child support issue, don't go it alone. You need the professionals at 1-800-DIVORCE to help protect your rights.
This is Rick Jones of the law firm Goldberg & Jones. Selecting the right attorney for your divorce is one of the most important decisions a man can make. Even though your case may last only a few months, the impact lasts a lifetime.